look at this. I can't imagine who was here. Well, I can't imagine what they're doing. Ugh, I bet it was day-old coffee too. It looks like an attempt at writing, snacks, coffee, scrunchel paper. I just wish I could have got to them sooner, and I could have sent them someplace to give them help. The Blount County Public Library. My name is Diane Benson, and I am not a writer, but I pretend to be one when I'm at the library. And today's session of Learning with the Library K through 12 is gonna focus on writing. It is a part of life for all of us, and sometimes staring at that blank page is just so intimidating. But come along, and let's get some resources to help you with this. So many times it gives us fear when we look at that white empty page when we're trying to write, or if we're trying to teach our students how to write. How do you actually go about it? Writing is an interesting concept, and certainly there's some books about the history of writing in humankind, which I think are pretty fascinating as well. But lots of times with writing, if it is our primary language that we're writing in, we kind of have an idea of what the cadence should sound like, how the words go together, just like we learn talking without sitting down and, you don't sit your little kid down today and today we're going to practice having a conversation. It's just kind of organic, and it's something that we do naturally with them. Writing can be an extension of that. Writing is many times preceded by reading books to a child as well. When they start associating words with ideas and their imagination, that's where this begins. And then to start even asking them when you're reading to them, what do you think is going to happen next? Or like, if you were the little kid in this story, what would you do at this point? And listen to them, and sometimes even write down what they're saying and kind of pretend that that's a book. Kids get so excited if you value their ideas and what they're writing. But one of the first places, as you can imagine, that you want to stop is at the library. We have so many materials to help you as the parent, as the teacher, help develop writing and pulling it out in your children. 36 workshops to get kids writing, from aliens to zebras. Sometimes the more fun that you can make it, the more outrageous that you can make what they're writing, the more silly it is, the more fun that they can have with it. The most wonderful writing lessons of all. We have all sorts of books on writing lessons, key strategies, free writing, easy writing skills, to the more developed, like how to write research papers, how to make myself clear when I'm writing. When the students start getting older, some things that you might want to consider are Strunk and White. I don't know why, this is like my favorite. I used to feel like you should read this once every year, just to kind of get an idea, especially for high school students, of how to keep stuff concise and say what you mean to say when you're writing. We have Grammar Girl, we have Writing with Skill. These are all books that parents and teachers can use that will take you step by step through the writing process. So it doesn't have to be intimidating. If you want to open up a book and see how to begin, you can do that. But there are other ways to use the library as well to teach writing. And one is just to grab one of your child's favorite books, or a book that you're reading with them, and then go ahead and pick out a sentence or a paragraph depending on their age. And you might want to read it together. You might want to talk about the punctuation that's being used. Look, it starts with a capital letter, and what do you think that little squiggly line is? That's a comma, and what does that mean? And read it out loud. Talk about it. Talk about the any words that the student doesn't know and what they could mean. So here's an example. There was a second crash and another policeman crumpled up. Okay, so you can talk about that, and then eventually you'll write it out on a piece of paper and have the student copy it. Because when a student is reading good literature, when they are copying good literature, they start to immerse themselves in it, and they get a feel of what sounds right. They get a feel of what good literature looks like, so that then as you move up from that, you maybe will ask the student to say that paragraph but write it in a different way in their own words, or if they were telling that story, how would they describe how the policeman fell and what happened in that situation. So the key is to start them out. Know, of course, there's a connection between reading and writing, but really celebrate whatever the student can do, because writing can be intimidating, especially if we always get out the red marker and say, oh, this was supposed to be capital, this was supposed to be, this was supposed to have more space here, or you spelled this word wrong. Those are all good teaching opportunities, but the first thing is to celebrate that they got their ideas down on paper. If they have a really hard time with it, have them tell you a story. And as I mentioned earlier, you then write it down for them and then talk about how to punctuate it correctly, and maybe then use their own paragraph or their own sentence for the copy work to get them started. But writing can be fun. Writing can be healing when we are able to get out our emotions. Writing can be just something that's part of life. When we're writing emails as we get older, when you are writing research papers, when you're doing literary analysis, it is so important that we're able to take the thoughts that are in our mind and put them in a written form that other people can understand, where there's clarity in what we're writing. All right, so I mentioned that we have a lot of different books and inspiration here in the stacks throughout the library, but we also have a lot available to help you homeschool moms, teachers, parents who are looking to extend the learning for your students here on the website. So here I am at the Blount County Public Library website, and I'm going to start by clicking on Learning. And then I am going to go to the Tennessee Electronic Library, and we're going to start there. And if you've been following us, you know this is a great resource to find out and get information and actually get lesson plans in a lot of different areas. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to students, and we're going to start out at the lower level. We're going to start out at the elementary school level, and I am going to go to Elementary Gale in Context. And I'm going to use this resource. And then I am going to click on a search, and I'm going to search writing. Okay, so we'll search writing. We have a section here that talks about writing. What are the steps in writing? How do we edit writing? What does that mean? So not only can you read about writing, there's quick facts about writing. You can scroll down to get some different book articles, magazine articles, news articles, and further on down, you can even watch different videos about writing. How do we identify and describe opinion writing? That's really good to know for students. Is this someone's opinion, or is this based on fact? Observing and writing. How do we look and write about what we've actually seen? And then as you scroll down even further, there are other topics such as fiction versus nonfiction, the main idea, punctuation, sentences, etc. So what you see here is that there's all sorts of resources just under this one tab in the elementary area that's going to get you started with your student as far as talking about writing. Okay, so let's go ahead and go now. We're going to go back and we're going to take a look at the middle school resources. We're going to begin by using the same database that we used in the other one, middle school Gale in Context, except for it's the middle school instead of the elementary. And then we're going to click on Use This Resource, because once again, this is where we would start searching, we would start learning. Now, here, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, here on the right-hand side at the bottom, it says Educator Resources. And this is where you can find tools to help educators and students get the most out of Gale in Context. So let's go ahead and click on that. And what you will see is over here, particularly on the right side, here is a research toolkit to help with research reports for middle school students. So it is going to be how you pick a topic, how you outline a topic, how you cite, and there are pages, tip pages that you can print out for your students. So let's pick out one here. Let's look at how to write a conclusion. Okay, we can look at the tip sheet that is available there, and you can actually also print this out for your students if you want to. And it gives them some information and ideas on how to write a conclusion. Just a tip sheet for them there, a sample conclusion, helps talk them through how to do that. If we go back again, then there is a worksheet. So if you're a teacher, homeschool teacher, etc., and you want to teach these concepts and have worksheets for the students to fill out afterwards, this is all pre-done for you here in the Tennessee Electronic Library, particularly the Gale in Context. So I'm not going to go ahead and do the same thing for high school because it's very similar. The tip sheets are a little bit different, but it's the same way. What I want to just mention once again is you click into, it's the Gale in Context, you click on Use This Resource, and then you want to scroll all the way down to the bottom. And again, it's that little spot where you probably miss if you weren't looking for it. Educator Resources. And you can click there to get lots of information, worksheets, tip sheets for you, how to teach, etc. For your students. So you don't have to create everything from scratch. There's so much that is out here for the students. So let's go ahead and go back here. So we have all the different options. And now let's look under educators, okay? So we're going to go for educators. I'm going to click on database for educators. And we are going to go ahead and educators reference complete. This is Gale 1 file. We're going to click on that. We're going to use this resource. And then just to kind of, if you're looking to get what's up to date, what's going on in the field, what new techniques folks are using for teaching writing, this is the place to go. Science education through creative writing, incorporating different strategies to get writing done, the effectiveness of the writing circle strategies in academic writing. So what I would encourage you is to just look through here. It gives you some ideas of what's kind of cutting edge and what research is being done and what different innovative schools and teachers are doing relative to teaching writing to their students. So just a good resource for those who are actually leading the pack as far as teaching those areas. Let's move back to the Blount County website, and we are going to go to streaming services at this point. So let me click on streaming services, and we're going to start out with Hoopla. And I think to start out with, we have got the kids on, so we're going to go ahead and leave the kids on at this point, and we're going to search writing. Okay. And there's a lot of cool ebooks in here relative to writing. Helping your kids write adventure plays and then maybe act them out. Funny plays, writing a blog. I've known a lot of parents who've used blog writing as part of the writing curriculum for their students. They'd write a blog, the parents would go over it, etc. Writing research papers. So again, all of this is in here at your fingertips. So you don't even have to come physically to the library to get this information. So just kind of think about looking through here. There's some also good books in this section on teaching writing with a growth mindset. Because one of the things we get is so many times kids get so afraid of making a mistake, and instead kind of putting the emphasis on is mistakes are an opportunity to learn, and it's not really a mistake, it's just part of the process of learning. So we hope that you're able to go ahead and use that too. So let me move over now to the other streaming, not screaming. We'll save that for October. Let's pick on Kanopy here. All right. And if we scroll down to browse movies, and we are going to search here, how to teach writing. And again, these are things that you're going to use more as the parent or the teacher, maybe to give you ideas. Teaching and learning has a lot to do with literacy and writing. Lots of different movies in here that may kind of inspire you, give you some ideas of how you can use writing with your students or to make it a little bit easier and fun for them. Let's see, there's one interesting one on writing with mentors. I was gonna, let's search for that. And there's a lot there's obviously specifically this title, but then there's some other ideas that you can get in this section as well. So I just encourage you, you can be creative with the searches that you're doing, but there is a lot of good information there in Kanopy as well. All right, so I hope that has given you some good resources for both here at the library and online that you can use to make writing less of an obstacle for your children. And hopefully it'll grow into something that they enjoy over time, and especially just that ability to express themselves, and whether it doesn't even ever have to be published. They don't have to be a writer or have those type of ideas either. But just journaling or writing about their life, that's going to be valuable and fun for them to look back at someday. All right, everybody. I think we did a good job helping that student there at the beginning. I found them. I gave them some information, and they are well on their way to writing a beautiful paper that they're going to feel good about when they turn it in. So thank you for joining us this month with LLK12, where we're focused on writing. Hope to see you next month when we delve into all the resources that are available here at the library that can help you and your students learn a foreign language. This is Diane Benson. Farewell.